So Robbie, Saturday marks the climax of what's been a quite remarkable season. There's been highs, there's been lows, but the biggest high of them all is we're record breakers, aren't we?
Yeah, it's been a quite incredible achievement from a group of players who believed in me, who believed in my staff, who believed in the football club. To get that quality of player to come to us in the first place, a lot dropping, lower, to go on the journey with us, and they've bought into every single idea we've had as a staff. They've done it on the pitch where it counts, and I could not be more humbled, not only to lead that group to be the best ever team at the level, but to try and win the league above them next year.
You've often highlighted in the past in interviews that winning this division would be one of your career highlights. Is that still the case?
Well, I think it's quite fitting, really, that I'm sitting here now as a Northern Premier League winner, the first person to do that, the first manager to do that since the great Peter Wragg, sadly no longer with us. I think Wraggy won it in 1987, so it's fitting that I'm sitting here, emulating Raggy's great achievement. Sadly passed away on the Christmas day. So again, brilliant what he did for the football club. It's brilliant what Sammy McElroy did for the football club, in the mid to late 90s. Got us from the conference to League One in 5 years. So that was a brilliant achievement. John Askey finished mid-table, in the National League in 2017. And on the 1st of June, only had one player. Then won the league, the National League in 2018. And then Danny Whittaker, great achievement from Bury, getting out of the counties at the second attempt by 3 points. I think everybody knows how hard it is to win leagues, regardless of budgets, regardless of players, regardless of fan base. Danny Whittaker won the league by 15 points in our first season. So again, Braggy, Sammy, Danny, all brilliant achievements. And listen, mine doesn't come close to those three. I was expected to win the league. People talk about budgets. I expect us to win the league with that budget, no doubt about it. So I've not done nothing out of the ordinary at this football club. I've just created a group, made them believe themselves after the disappointment of last season, giving them fuel to the fire, giving them a belief to take everybody on, no matter what league. And when they cross that white line, having pride in that Macclesfield badge, going out there, playing for your families, playing for that crowd who've been through so much. And we've just instilled that in them. So again, we're absolutely delighted. But my achievement is an achievement which I've not done nothing out of the ordinary, other than break every single record that Macclesfield FC have had and the league. So again, my achievements personally don't come anywhere close to what Raggy, Sammy and Danny have done. But I'm delighted and humbled enough to be mentioned in the same breath as those fantastic managers.
Touching back on the whole record side of things, obviously we've broken a fair few this season in all competitions, but just running a couple past you, obviously points wise we can still get to 109, which is quite remarkable really. League wins surpassed a record. We could get to 36 in the end. Total wins, again, the list is endless. And for you, how proud of an achievement is that for you and your staff and your group that those records are tumbling?
Yeah, as a manager in his first job, I think it's my 50th game at the weekend as Macclesfield FC manager, and the points per game, the win percentage is probably the best it's ever been at this football club. But if I didn't have my staff pushing me, Bandy, Nige, John, all my staff, all the people behind the scenes, Amanda on a match day, Lindsay, Bob, yourself, Danny, everybody that contributes, Andy in the bar with the bar sales, Steve and Susan and John and Tracy in here, the people in the academy building selling the tickets, the two lovely ladies. Everybody has contributed to the success and enabled those players to go onto that field of play, giving everything, not caring about anything, just that moment in those 90 minutes, be the best you can be. And everybody's facilitated that. Jed stays at 11 o'clock sometimes to brush the pitch. Jimbo, he cares. I could go through so many people at this football club. Catherine, who makes sure everything's spotless for the lads when they come in. So again, it's not just me, it's everything behind the scenes that enables those players to contribute every Saturday. They are fantastic owners, and more importantly, the fans who through thick and thin have been here supporting that group. And listen, it's great when you're winning, it's course, but next year's going to be a test that when we lose a few games, that they stick with us, they stick by us. They believe we know what we're doing. So again, it's brilliant that every record's been broken, and we need to continue that momentum into next season.
You've alluded to the fact of how pleased you were in the past of the 11 players signing new deals going into next season. That strong core is going to be there next season, and in your eyes, the sky's the limit, isn't it?
Yeah, the group, they can get better. That's the frightening thing. I think, one of the hardest things in football is recruitment. Listen, you can have the biggest budget in the league, yeah? But what the biggest budget doesn't give you is instant success. What it doesn't give you is that desire, that drive to turn up to training every single time when you're not in the team. What it doesn't give you is that willingness to throw yourself in front of shots. What it doesn't build you is camaraderie, togetherness in the dressing room. And what it doesn't do is guarantee you wins and points. Yes, it's brilliant that you can pick from a host of players from higher. Of course it is, but you've got to get the right balance right. You've got to bring in players to suit the group, the dynamic of the dressing room, the dynamic on the pitch. You've got to bring in players who come with a big reputation. We've seen players here in the past come with huge reputation, not being able to do it. So again, look at Danny Elliott. I think it was 2 goals in his first 12 games. Gone on to score 40 goals. Luke Duffy with a big, replacing James Berry, being immense. John Rooney. Lauren Mendy, who probably, has played over 185 games now for the football club as a right back. Has never had a number 2 on his back. He's played in so many positions. So again, people with personality is what we wanted. People who can play in numerous positions, so we can create a tight-knit group. But again, when you've had so many players at a football club, finding the right balance and the right connectivity in a group, that's so hard to find, whatever money you have. And listen, the money we've had has enabled us to get the right balance. And I've done, as I've said, Ben, I've done nothing out of the ordinary with this group. Yes, we've had the biggest budget, and yes, I should have won the league, no doubt about it. But what people don't realise is that pressure that every single week, whether Macclesfield, we're mid-table, top, playoff position at the bottom, is everybody's cup final. And I don't care what anybody says. So for that group and for us as a club to have that pressure on them every single week, wherever we are in the league, is remarkable. So yeah, people can talk about us in every which way they want, but inevitably we have created history at this level. The record I don't think will ever be broken, but it's how we react next year and how we go forward. Looking forward to some massive football clubs in the league, be like playing in League 2 at times next season. I said to the group at the weekend, the most pleasing thing for me is how we bounce back after defeats. I think on Saturday we can win 12 straight league games for the first time in the history of the club, which will be immense. When we lost, I think we've only lost once this season. That was early January away to Ashton. Good luck to them in the playoffs. We've gone on a run there of 13 unbeaten. Drew at Hebburn, 12 wins. Quite remarkable. And every lost a league, bounced back at Hyde. Then we beat Worksop. So every time this team has faced a little bit of adversity, they've got stronger. And that for me is incredible. Not only have they won games by good margins, they've ran harder, they've sprinted more, they've worked harder, they've got more together, and they've grown as a group. So again, the fundamental thing about this side is I've given them the belief that they can beat anybody. And if a league club were coming here tomorrow in the FA Cup, that group would have the belief, which is built into them now, that they can take on anybody, and that's what we'll be doing next season.
At the start of the season, could you really have anticipated how well this season has gone?
No. The pressure, the nerves, because it's me. So not only, listen, let's be totally honest here, not just because it's Macclesfield FC, it's because it was me as well. So there was an added pressure on the players. And what they've done for me personally, and the way they've gone about their business, I can only ever be grateful for them. And that's why I wanted to reward them. That group, and we've created like a family feel here now, for me, in the first time in 4 years, that that group are so tight. And that will be highlighted in how little amount of players we bring in the summer, because I believe in this group so much. A huge thank you as well to every single manager that's been here to put us in this position, because every single manager who's been at this club has given everything, and they've all been played their part in some way, and this football club will be forever indebted to those previous managers. So again, as it stands, we are. It's been an emotional journey. The BBC documentary will cover lots of it this season, but it's just a reward for the effort, the countless times watching VO, Scout players, opposition, going to games when I could be home with my family, because you have to do things right, no matter what level. You have to do it right to get the best out of your players and to give them the best opportunity when they cross that white line to go and beat opposition. And again, I think tactically, I can see things in a game. We can see things. I've got lots to learn. My staff really helped me. There's been times when my staff have said, try this, we've done it, we've won the game, but I'm the one sitting here having to explain why, and it looks like it's me, but it's not. My staff have been core and fundamental to some of the decisions made, and they need to take as much credit as me, even more credit. The training sessions that John have put on, and Bandy and Nige and Danny with the goalkeepers, Nick with his, and Marissa, to have that fully fit squad for most of the season is credit to them. So again, it's when the lads turn up to work, they just got to have a bit of fun, camaraderie in the dressing room together before they go out to training. But as soon as they go out there, everything's done so professionally, so right. Standards have to be there. And that's been epitomised since when we won the league. The standards have been there. Nobody can drop. Same again Saturday. I remember, was it a tweet that Whitby put out on the last game of last season? So that will be mentioned to the lads as well. But again, we're in a position now where we look forward to pre-season. The football club, when the accounts went out, is in a fantastic place. We got new owners, we got new investment. When you think that a club at step 2 next season is going to be generating over £500,000 in sponsorship, and that's down to Bob Trafford's, work, a fan of the football club who cares, and he knows that every single penny which comes in can help the first team budget, and he wants to see us win. So he's working tirelessly to get that higher. I think it's over about 120% increase in sponsorship, which since Bob's came in. So again, if you look at all the facets of our football club, I'm the one that sits here. The players are the one who cross the white line, but it's the volunteers, the people behind the scenes who do everything as a business to make those players, to let me have those players as sponsors. So again, it's us that have done it, and we cannot wait to get going.
And I suppose for you, after that final whistle against Whitby, how are you going to relax for 2 months before pre-season starts?
Well, I'll be watching most of the National League North games back from last season, teams in our league. I'll be watching the playoffs. The lads have got a reward after the weekend, the Player of the Season awards on Saturday, which anybody could win it because there's been unbelievable performances. Max Sternley, I think, for me, he's been immense. To have 21 goalkeepers at this football club, for him to be the next one and to be the best we've ever had, to keep as many clean sheets as he has, and to be a massive part of that dressing room. Such a character, great guy. He's been instrumental, no doubt about it, for us. So again, they'll have a reward on Saturday next week. But then I'll be watching National League North games back, National League games back, the recruitment process to bring 1 or 2 in. That's it. That's all we're going to do. And if those players, I've got my targets. If those players, don't want to come and join this journey at a huge football club in non-league, then, we won't get any players, because I believe in the group we have. But I just think 1 or 2, I said on Saturday in the dressing room, didn't I, that I believe in this group so much. And as it stands, we'll have 15 or 16 players. We need to add 1 or 2 to the group. But again, with my relationship with league clubs, I already spoke to massive football clubs about loaning us players. And because we're now in the National League system, step 1 and 2, they're willing to do that for us. So again, we might see 1 or 2 youngsters coming in on a loan period from huge football clubs next season, if needed. So again, that we haven't got to worry about recruitment this year. The worry was retention, which we've done exceptionally well. But I've got to say, it's the best year we've had in recruitment for the amount of players who have done it for us. And that they've been a huge difference, and they've helped the players who had that disappointment of last season. And as one, they've proved everybody wrong. And I've proved everybody wrong. And that's nice. I'll continue to prove people wrong at this wonderful football club. So it's been a wonderful season. I'll do my interview after the game, because it's going to be carnage Saturday. It's going to be so nice lifting that trophy. Got 1 or 2 surprises for a few people as well on Saturday. But again, 4,500, 5,000 fans, make it a party atmosphere. But inevitably, we want to win the game of football. We want 109 points. So I'm going to make sure our players are focused to do that, enjoy it afterwards. And then we have a lovely summer. It won't be lovely for me, but as I said, I'll be looking at teams for next season. How do you play against them? Because I love that side of the game. I love how to get the better managers. And again, we will be one of the biggest teams, if not the biggest, once again in the league above, and everybody's cup final. Not so much, because who knows who's going to go from there yet. But again, there's some great teams in that division. Great teams, some fantastic managers, far better managers than me. But it's a challenge. We look forward to it. And again, I want to thank the fans who have been with us from workshop away. Even the ones who doubted us, doubted me. Hopefully I've won them over, proved them wrong. And we'll need them to be with us next year, because it might be ups and downs next year. There will be. But again, the aims of next year is to finish minimum in the top 7 playoffs, and to get to the FA Cup first round, and to get to an FA Trophy final. That's the aims of this football club next season. So I'll put it there now. Top 7, FA Cup first round, and an FA Trophy final. That's the benchmark I'm going to set me and these players, and that's what we want to achieve. So I'll thank everybody. It's been an amazing season. I know I've got on a lot, Ben, and you've probably run out of batteries more times than any media person in the world. But I want to thank you as well, because what you've done and what our team done behind the scenes have enabled us to go on this journey. And Rob Smethurst should be on Saturday night sitting back, looking at what he's created, and just think, wow, what he's done for this community, this football club. We can only be eternally grateful.
And I suppose, Robbie, the final thing to mention, obviously, could get to 109 points on Saturday with a victory. It'd be $5,500 a point.
Wow, you throw that in at the end. As I said, Ben, is that what it works out? Yeah. About $5,500 a point. Well, yeah, it's great knowledge from you, Ben. I don't know who told you that, but yeah, listen. As I said, you can have a great one. 5,500 a point, 109 points. Wow. Yeah, it probably works out about right, Ben. But I must say, wow, you throw me there. What I will say is that that just proves value for money. That group have gone out there and done what was expected of them. I expected them to win the league. I expected them to go out there and be the best team every single week. I didn't think they'd break the records, but again, if you did a table of pro rata what it's cost everybody per point, I don't think we'd be at the top then, considering of of that, the amount of points we've got compared to budget. So again, it's wow, is that what it is? 1,000. But listen, we set out to achieve what we set out to achieve. Pro rata wise, again, what an interesting stat that, Ben. I'd love to see a league table on budget compared to points amount per point. That would be a brilliant league table to see where we were in that. But again, it was expected. I expected us to win the league. We should have won the league with that money. Should we have broken every single record there is? Maybe not, because there's been some huge clubs at this level in the past. But undoubtedly now we're the best ever at the level.